Hey, man, it's good to talk to you again. Thanks for hanging out on the show.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me back.
Well, of course, Sylosis finally coming back to Australia, man. I'm pretty stoked about that. You've been here with Architects over the last few years, but
Yeah.
Sylosis last time was Soundwave in 2013, and I
Yeah.
caught you there, and that was fucking.
Oh, wow.
I was there,
Oh,
man.
thanks.
I was there, and I was
One of the
stoked.
few.
Yeah, man. Man, it was such a good. I'm looking forward to seeing you again,
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back.
man.
Love it in Australia.
How's the set list coming together though? Because we're 3 albums behind, I believe, since
Yeah.
time.
We'll definitely try and cover all bases, try and make sure every album's covered if we can. We've got enough albums now that it makes it harder to pick a set list. And the thing, like with Dormant Heart, no, sorry, with Cycle of Suffering, that record came out like 2 weeks before we went into full lockdown. And
Yeah,
we just never got to tour that record either. So that one never got like its time, to play those songs live. So we're making up for lost time with that one, and we have what I would still consider a new record out. Um, we'll always try and cover like I say, every record when we play live. But admittedly, I think even fans of it's inevitable. Like when you get into a band, whatever record you get into first is your favorite typically. But I think even fans of like earlier records would agree that when they see us, that the new stuff goes down so much better live, so much more intense and fun to play. And the songs were written with that in mind a lot more. Like some of our old songs are like really long, and we'll be playing like fast thrash for like 5 minutes straight, and not as much like variety. So the new stuff is so much just goes hits so much harder live. It's really fun to play.
man, I'm hanging for it. I'm hanging for it. I've got it on the calendar. It's,
Oh, good.
it's on the calendar. And you bring an Angelmaker down with you. They're brutal
Yeah,
as fuck. Those guys.
yeah, yeah. I think like we really wanted to like bring out a super heavy band, maybe another international band as well.
Mm.
Um, and it's always good to like mix things up. It admittedly like they're a great band, but it's also like weirdly there aren't that many bands out there doing our sort of music, which I find odd because the way I see Sylosis is like a continuation on from just like that middle lane, like Pantera, Sepultura,
Yep.
Machine Head, Black God, Chimera thing. We definitely have our own sound and influences separate to that stuff, but weirdly, there's not a lot of that kind of music coming out. There's a lot of like metalcore, or there's tons of like really cool like death metal stuff, or HM2 stuff, or like tons of amazing hardcore coming out. But weirdly, like there's just this hole in the metal genre to me,
Yeah.
which is where Soul sits. So it's really hard to just find bands that we think are in a similar boat. So well, we just mix it up. It's always good to like have a, a diverse package when you put together a tour as well.
Yeah, I'm finding that too. That is very, very true, man. Because I'm in a band that's kind of similar down here. We're in that middle ground where hardcore and metalcore seem to be really, really big down here at the moment. So everyone wants to be in a band like that, I guess.
Yeah,
So we need more. We need more of that. The middle ground, the straight up metal. Come on, kids.
yeah,
Maybe I'm just old man talking, but I love that stuff. I do like the hardcore, I like the metal stuff. But kids, they'll swing around. I'm sure.
yeah. I definitely I'm not complaining like they're back in my day or anything, but I genuinely find it kind of odd that like the last like big band I guess to like carry that flag on I guess is like Lamb of God, and
Yes.
then after that it kind of just dropped off a bit in terms of like that more middle lane metal. I mean there are bands out there like obviously you got like Trivium and stuff,
Mm.
but there's just not a lot of like metal.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. The alt metal thing's really big at the moment. It's
Yeah,
like
and
this.
and and I listen to a ton of hardcore as well, so I'm not like complaining. Like one of my favorite bands is like Terror, but I just find it kind of odd that like that's such like a to me growing up that was like the biggest genre of metal, and now it's kind of dissipated into so many subgenres that there's not much of that left.
It's true. It's true. It'll swing around. It'll swing around. But mate, you know, you've been down to Australia a bunch of times now. Do you have a must do or something you have got to do? As soon as you get off that plane, you know, you got to go somewhere, get yourself a pie, or got to.
Yeah, oh, I mean, I
It's
don't know
good.
if I'll be going down. Where do we go? I've got some great pies in Sydney at Bondi. I don't know if it was like Pie Face, like the chain, or if it was like an independent one. But typically with architects, we always seem to start tours in Adelaide, and
Yep.
we'd fly into this hotel in the city. Sorry, we'd arrive at the hotel, wake up super jet lagged, super early, and we go down to this place called Argo on the Square for breakfast, and they do like acai bowls, smoothie bowls, and the breakfast menu there is insane. So, but just everywhere in Australia compared to the UK, everywhere for food and coffee is amazing. The weather's going to be great. The people are great because it's so similar to like UK sense of humor. So I've said this every interview I've done. Definitely my favorite place to tour, but it just sucks getting there. I hate the
Yeah,
flights.
it's brutal, man. It is a brutal
Yeah.
flight. But at least, hey, what's with the coffee? Every band I talk to is like, man, the best coffee is in Australia. Even Nurgle, when I was having a chat with Nurgle when he was here last, he's like, man, Australia coffee. It's like, I don't understand. I guess because I have
Yeah, you've just
coffee in
got that, like, you've just got a ton of hipsters over there, and the hipsters know how to make good coffee. That's what it is.
it's all they
Like,
can
you go into some of those places, there's everywhere you go in Australia, there's like a coffee shop, and they're like super like, and you know the coffee's going to be good if they treat you like shit. Me and my wife watched something recently. Forget what it's called, the Australian comedy Fisk. We enjoyed it anyway. One of the episodes, she like goes into a coffee shop and they're like super like, and it's just like typical Australian. Like they, what Brandon from Counterparts says, bitchy coffee places. Like the more rude they are to you, you know the coffee's going to be really
get them
good.
good.
Or if they kind of like laugh at your order, which for me is just like a black coffee, like Americano, you know it's going to be good if they ridicule your order. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of hipsters in Australia, and they make good coffee. That's it.
That's all they're good for. Is that what you're saying? They're just all the hipsters. That's all they're good
No, it's
for.
not what they're good for. Like, no,
Contributing to society with their
excellent coffee.
excellent company. But, you know, you recently did a summer run of festivals playing like Brutal Assault, which looked fucking amazing, dude. How was it returning to play those, and which one had the craziest response?
Yeah, it was so much fun. Summer festivals are like the highlight of the year, and it's been a long time since Sylosis have done some. Even with Architects, we hadn't done. I hadn't done any with
Mm,
the band in so long, obviously because of the pandemic and
yeah.
that sort of stuff since like 2017, and then Sylosis would have been 2015, the last festivals. Yeah, amazing. Summer Breeze Festival in Germany was probably the best, like biggest crowd and a rowdy show. So yeah, that's we've done that festival a lot as well, and that was a really good one.
Man, we don't get that kind of thing down here. Well, I mean,
No,
get some good festivals, but the shit over
yeah,
there is just bonkers, man. We look at that lineup and
I
go,
mean, yeah, we didn't do it this year, but when you're talking about lineups, Hellfest is insane.
yes.
Like just every metal band you can think of is on there. Every subgenre of extreme death metal, black metal, like every band is playing usually. And they've got like six stages. The lineup on that one's crazy. But we didn't do that on this year. But yeah, in mainland Europe in particular, the more like extreme stuff and the metal that I like, it's yeah, so good. I walk out into just the main arena and just go through all the little like pop up like merch stalls because there'll be like loads of like sick death metal t-shirts. I'll go on a little shopping spree. Got myself a nice Deicide first album cover shirt and a Sepultura Arise one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's hard though, hey, because you have to sometimes you're like, save the money, gotta save the money, and then you
Oh
up and you go, oh, fuck it, damn it, all right, take my money. Then
yeah,
you just come home, you're like, why have you got nothing but band shirts? And you're like,
I know.
you try. Have you got a large collection of band shirts that you just can't part with?
No, not really to be honest. I was overdue to get some new ones, so I didn't feel too bad. Um, Yeah, I no, not too many. It's okay.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll say no more because mine is just piling up too much. Um, are there any bands on that run that that caught your attention that maybe we should keep an eye out for that you'd might want to tour with or something like that?
I didn't see many bands. We were doing a lot of travel between those, so we kind of get in, load up, load out, drive for the next
Mm.
one. Um, Caught up with a few bands. Body Snatcher, we're about to tour with in the
Yeah.
US with Fit for an Autopsy, so got to watch their set. They played right before us at Reload Festival. Um, so it was nice to meet them and see their set. It was really cool. Yeah, didn't see many bands, but in terms of new bands, there's a band called Life Cycles from San Antonio, Texas, that we're just listening to a lot. They're sick, like thrash crossover, hardcore kind of band.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, definitely check them out.
All right. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. And of course, your latest album, A Sign of Things to Come, came out about this time last year. I think it was the last time we
Yeah, we're like a week away or
a
something.
week away.
September 8th.
Crazy, crazy. But man, it's such an incredible record. Have you found that some of those songs have taken on new meaning to you personally after playing them live or taken new shape?
Um, Not necessarily, and not really in terms of the meaning, but just they just go down so much better live. Like playing live is so much more fun for me now. And admittedly, I haven't really spoken about this much, but when we went on hiatus before I joined Architects, I think a lot of people kind of think that maybe I stopped Sylosis to join Architects. There was like a good few months where I'd actually already stopped Sylosis, and then that just happened to fall into place. But I part of the reason I got bummed out was just I'd set so many boundaries up on Sylosis back in the day. Like we don't want to be called a metalcore band, so we're going to tune our guitars up, and we're not going to play anything that resembles a breakdown. And I wasn't enjoying playing live as much, but I want to play like some super heavy, chunky riffs every now and then. And if anyone thinks, "Oh, it sounds like a breakdown," I don't care now. And admittedly, we don't play like breakdowns,
Yeah.
but we grew up listening to Pantera Machine Head, like super chunky, heavy riffs, and I always loved like Hatebreed. And now that we are just including stuff from like the roots of the band, and I'm less worried about people going to think this is hardcore or metalcore influenced or whatever. The new stuff is so much more fun to play live. Just like the heavy sections just hit harder, and it's just way more intense and fun. And the songs were written to be played live and to go down better live. So yeah, way, way, way more fun. And I've got better as a vocalist, more confident as a frontman. So the whole live experience is so much more fun for me now. Whereas the last tour we did before the hiatus, I was kind of like, I'm just stood here in one spot, unable to move. I've got to do all these technical riffs. There's no like fun breakdown section or heavy stompy riff. And that was kind of what burnt me out in the first place. So yeah, it's kind of a revitalized Sylosis.
And do you find that, you're writing now with that in mind? Like, have you got ideas for the next album already? Because you,
Yeah, we've been writing a lot. We've got a bunch of stuff written already at this point. I'm more mindful of there are loads of songs in our catalog that we've never played live and may never play live because they're really hard to do guitar and vocals at the same time. And I'm more mindful of writing stuff that I can definitely sing over or can at least learn at some point to sing and do guitar at the same time. And stuff that's just going to hit harder and not be as meandering as some of our older stuff. And I just don't have the attention span. I still want our song to be full of riffs, have like take you on a journey and have that the progressive element in terms of having like variation in the songs. But the 6, 7 minute long songs are just when you're playing a festival as well, you can play like 5 of those songs and then you're done.
that's it.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather, yeah.
And you recently released the early years doco that you can access by signing up to the mailing list, which is pretty cool. It's a good way to get people on board. How was it digging into those archives, putting that together?
Yeah, it was fun and embarrassing. Like I have no, I definitely don't think we were a good band back then. I think the the newest record is the closest we've been to how we would have sounded when we first began, because we're just bringing out the influences we had when we started. That some of those influences that we either like refined our sound and lost along the way, or were, like I say, worried that people might think it's metalcore. Because Pantera are like one of our first major influences, and anything like chuggy and stompy, like Domination or whatever. Today, if you write a riff like that, people go, "Oh, it's a metalcore band," and that's not where we came from. But
Yeah.
I was when we started like releasing records in Nuclear Blast and wanted to like present the band, we wanted to appeal to all the elitists. So we were like, don't do anything that sounds like a breakdown. And we aren't, I wouldn't say we really have any like hardcore influences, but we are bringing in all those original influences that are the roots of the band. So like Great Southern Trendkill, More Things Change, Machine Head, Burn My Eyes, like Slipknot Iowa was a huge record. So there's more of those elements. So people that are fans of the band are like, oh, they're trying to sound modern or new. And I'd still say it holds up as a modern record, but really it's going back to our roots. It's just no one knows about those roots because we started in 2000. First record came out 2008.
Yeah.
No one knows about that period. So that's kind of why we wanted to shine a light on it.
Do you think that's it sort of comes with a bit of age? You know what I mean? You know, you sort of
Yeah, or just confidence and not caring about things.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
where in your younger years you're like, oh, I know what it's like, but
Yeah.
you know, that's cool, man. That's cool. And of course, one thing I did want to ask you about is you're doing a guitar package and photo op with ESP over on your
Yeah.
upcoming tour. Is that how does that work? And are we going to get that down here in Australia?
Don't know. We haven't thought that far ahead. It might be harder to do in Australia just because of the way we travel. But basically, we buy a bunch of guitars from ESP. I use them on stage. Then people can buy those guitars and obviously like just hang out with me. I mean, I hate like paid meet and greets.
Yeah.
Just to be real with you, like that US tour is incredibly expensive. So before we get out there and before we, hopefully make money on merch, it's like minus 40 grand for us to do it. So anything to help get us out of that deficit. But yeah, it's cool. Like loads of bands doing like Exodus, Creator, and people are getting like actual value. So the meet and greet element, that most bands are like feel awkward about charging for. It's more about the guitar. They're just buying a guitar that I've played on stage. So we buy a bunch of them direct from ESP, and then I'll play on stage, and then people get to take it home.
I love
But
that.
yeah, at the moment I don't have to do it in Australia just because of with flying every day. It might be tricky to. I don't know. Maybe we could get ESP to send a bunch out to each venue, but I don't know yet.
That'd be kind of cool, but it's understandable. It's understandable. But
Yeah,
in the meantime, what's next? What's next for Sylosis after this tour?
the Australian one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just my mind's thing. We've got USA, UK, Europe, then Australia. Probably more festivals next year, but yeah, trying to fit the album in at some point. Whenever it's done, we have no timeline yet. Just going to write and see where we go.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited to see you. It's going to come up around real quick, you know. Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. Yep. Before you'll be here before too long. But in the meantime, brother, take care out on the road. Have a good fucking time, and stay in touch.
Cool. Nice one, man. Thank you very much.
See you.
See you then.